wanted to share something with you, which is about, no, don't worry, it's not what it's not what you think. Basically, I'm kind of working at the moment. I'm sort of half working at the moment. Let me just give you some context quickly. This is about calming measures if you struggle with high emotions. Okay, so it can be any emotion. So I have EUPD. It is. I'm going to share something quite specific to me. You might be able to associate with it. EUPD is quite rare in men, or at least rarely diagnosed in men. But don't read between the lines. So this might be sort of quite specific, but it's worth knowing, because I'll try and keep it broad. So basically, just going to give you some context very quickly. So as I said, I'm half working at the moment. I run a studio where we obviously hire it to like dance groups, theatre groups for rehearsals. There's like music videos are filmed there, and there's like a special effects thing. We had like a car in there getting covered in gold stuff. It all happens. Then obviously lockdown happened in 2020. I had to carry on paying the lease and all the bills and everything. Didn't get any money from the government. It was all a bit of a nightmare, very stressful, and I was panicking. So I thought, what can I do? I've got a studio. I can go in there and use it, just no one else can. Somebody approached me and said, well, look, we're looking for models. You could just do a studio on your own. I'm like, mate, are you kidding? I hate the way I look. I've got like, wonky teeth. Dude, seriously. And he was like, no, but it doesn't matter. You've got, it's called alternative fashion modelling. And basically what it is it's like theatre costumes and stuff like that. So he said, well, most of the time you'll have like makeup on your face and everything. So, and it's really long shots. It's not going to be like close up. You don't have to worry about the way you look. And I was like, do you know what? Okay. And then he said, like, we'll pay you £300 a go sometimes. I was like, are you kidding me? Okay, I'll give it a go. Yes, it was nice. It was really good. I was a very different person back then. If you knew me before the pandemic, I was a very, very different guy. I'm a lot better now. Even though I'm struggling, I'm just a lot more at peace. Okay, so basically, so that happened. I like working at the studio. I love putting costumes together. I love all the kind of hair and makeup and everything. I know that for a guy, I've heard every cliche under the sun about my sexuality. Don't worry, no, I'm not gay. So that's, I'm not saying I'm entirely straight, but I'm not gay. So anyway, basically, it was good. This modelling was good. It saved me during the pandemic in many ways, not just financially, but going completely insane. And then that went on, obviously the studio reopened, and then that went on to private clients contacting who'd seen this stuff, and they wanted certain things as well, like they wanted sketches performed, and this was great. So for example, people will come in and they will do they will order a specific, like if they want a comedy sketch or something, they've written a script, and obviously Netflix aren't going to do their script, but studios like ours can. So but then it started to veer off into slightly more, I don't want to say really, possibly mildly fetish, but it was all fully clothed. My golden rolls is fully clothed. I don't do anything that's suggestive, but I have a group of people that do like me performing in, I would say, feminine ways, but I never actually imply that I'm dressing as a woman. I just put my hair and stuff in feminine ways. However, that aside, this video isn't about that. What this video is actually about is calming, because one of the reasons why I still do these videos is a bit of an excuse. It's obviously slightly expressive, but for whatever reason, if I'm struggling with my emotions and I'm feeling like emotions are like 300 or 400%, one of the ways that I'm able to ground myself is by concentrating on something. And I found that doing things like this, very gently applying makeup, because again, this is something I do for work, so there's a reason to do it. And this is where I said this video is going to be quite specific. Probably more so if you identify as female. But you could adapt it if you are a man who struggles with emotions. It might not be EUPD, but it might be that you struggle with high emotions for whatever reason. You could take this, but you could adapt it to your own thing, okay? So it doesn't have to be applying makeup. So, for example, if I just very concentrate on my breathing, okay, but with my brain, I really focus on, so I've put a little bit of foundation there on my finger, and as I gently apply it, okay, I'm really focused on what that feels like. So I'm focusing all my attention. So like, for example, it feels quite cold, not unbearably cold, but I'm really thinking about that. I'm really thinking, okay, that feels quite cool. Is it smooth? Is it when I apply it like this, and then obviously with my brush? And I'm really focusing now on what that feels like. So my brush is smooth. It's quite relaxing. It's a nice feeling. And I really focus on what I'm doing. And I concentrate on where the brush is touching my face. And quite often what I would do is I would identify how, and even say out loud what it feels like. So as I say, it's feeling soft a bit. When I go around my nose like this, it feels a little bit tickly. So I might think, okay, it might be a little bit irritating, might even be uncomfortable. It doesn't matter as long as I'm really focusing on those feelings. Now at the same time, wearing some of these more vibrant outfits, which I do for work sometimes, is good as well, because then I can look at myself in the mirror and think, okay, what colours can I see? I'm wearing a top here. This is a gender neutral top. I am a big fan of gender neutral clothing. And I can look at the colours and try and pick out different colours. I can see purple and blue and a different shade of blue, and really kind of study, really study what I can see. Study the shapes and the colours and the different shades of colour. And then I'll think about what I can hear. So when I'm doing things like applying makeup, what does it say? Is there any noise to it? Well, you'd think there probably isn't, but there is. So, for example, if I really go quiet, I can actually hear the sound of the brush against my skin. I can hear my irritating, what's meant to be silent clock, screeching in the background, as I'm sure you can as well. I can hear it's very windy outside because I'm up on the moorlands, and the wind just sort of crashes into the windows. I can hear traffic in the distance. And obviously I would take my time to really focus on what I can see, what I can hear, and what I can feel. The top that I'm wearing is quite tight, so I'm sort of conscious of it, particularly around my shoulders and around here. So I can feel that, and I can feel the chair. I can feel when I'm sat on the chair, I can actually concentrate, if I'm sitting back. So I can feel it on the top of my back. And then I've got the arch where I can't feel, but then I can feel it down there. And I can obviously feel it on my legs. So it's really focusing on that. And if I'm really struggling, sometimes I will, so painting nails is good because you really have to concentrate. And again, I'm sorry if you are an alpha male, you might not be so keen on doing that. You might be, but you might not. But you can adapt it to your own. So for example, if you weren't keen on hair and makeup and doing things like that, it might just be a case of getting something, yeah, and brushing your hand with it, okay, and just focusing on the feeling, or even with your fingers. I mean, sometimes. So there was a woman having a panic attack on a underground train, and I went and assisted and got her out of this panic attack. And I asked if it was okay if I took her hand, if she was okay with it, and I just said, I'm just gonna very gently rub the top of your hand, that's all. I'm not gonna go anywhere else, just literally do that. And it really helped her get out of an anxiety attack. So I said, I need you to focus on what it feels like. So as my fingers are going around on your hand like that, does it feel rough or does it feel smooth? Does it feel irritating? Does it feel nice? Does it feel calming? Are my fingers cold? Are they warm? Are they sweaty? I mean, it doesn't have to be a nice, pleasant thing. It could be a really horrible thing. You might think, oh no, that feels horrible. But that's not the point. The point is you are identifying, you're really kind of honed in and thinking about what it feels like. And that's where you get out of this overloading emotional feelings, basically. Brushing hair, again, you might not have hair, you might have short hair. If you don't have hair, then it could just be like stroking your head, doing this. You don't have to have hair to do that. But the head basically is very receptive. So it's a good thing to do. They talk about like Indian head massage, which don't know, it's meant to be really good. So I'm not being hairist. Obviously I'm very lucky in that I have very, very thick, long hair naturally. So just spending time on very these combs are brilliant, by the way. I'm not being paid to endorse them, but V-Magic, yeah, they are great for if your hair gets knotty. Basically, so yeah, I just will concentrate on, and again, what I'm doing is that I'm not just brushing my hair, but I'm really focusing on what I'm feeling. So I can feel every glide, and obviously, so I concentrate on, I can feel it on my head, there, obviously, but then as I leave the surface of my head, I can still feel, I can hear, first of all, I can hear the gliding of the brush, but I can feel it like pulling now on my head. I can't feel the actual comb, but I can now feel it pulling. And it's things like that. If you really focus on what you're feeling, it can take you out of those really high, intense emotions. Even this is why people self-harm is a form of getting the emotions to come down, because basically as humans we can deal with physical pain much better than we can deal with emotional pain. And this is why people self-harm a lot. If you do self-harm because you try to get your emotions down, I do have a couple of tips for that as well. Holding ice is a good one. It will give you the same sensation. It will bring physical pain to your hands. It's very unpleasant. And it will hurt. It actually does hurt your skin. And obviously cold water. Everything from putting your wrists under freezing cold water to splashing your face with cold water. Even in extreme circumstances, they say get into an ice cold shower. If you're in a crisis, my team said just get straight into the shower, and it can work. It does stop you being in a crisis. But it's all about just focusing. It's just spending time and focusing, and try not to focus too much on the thoughts, but when thoughts do come into your head, identify them as thoughts. Identify them as thoughts. So for example, a thought has just entered my head. that nobody likes me, or I'm weird, or I'm hated, or whatever. But you've identified that thought, and then concentrate on doing whatever it is to get your emotions back. So that's the job is perfect for me. It's such a good job to have for what I have, in many ways. But yeah, I hope that works out for you quite nicely. Yeah, and as I said, I am half working, so because I'm going through some therapy at the moment, and had a bit of a crisis recently, and I'm recovering. And these jobs, they really do help at the moment, because they give me something to focus on, and it's quite nice. But yes, just to give you a little bit of context as well, I have 14 clients that commission me to just do like either sketches or usually just like comedy or something like that. But there are 6 very, very nice people who like me to appear and do things like, it's almost like, what's it called, ASMR, isn't it? And just to appear kind of like this, or in I guess in kind of feminine ways. And I like it. It's good. It's nice, expressive. It's calming. It gives me something to do. I don't ever dress like this any other time. It's just for work, but it is still very nice, and I really enjoy it. And as I say, I'm not a big fan of gender anyway. I don't like gender at all. I hate it. Absolutely hate it. I just don't think there's any need for it. Biological sex is one thing. It's there to reproduce. But all these other gender things, I mean, colours and music tastes and how we decorate our home and all this bollocks, no, it doesn't make any sense. It's unnatural. It's completely, nature did not intend for the colour pink to be feminine and blue to be masculine. It makes no sense. We've done that for some bizarre reason. So yeah, I do that. It keeps me grounded, and it gives me something to do. And pays quite well, incidentally. So, but yeah, I thought I would combine this. I thought I would combine a bit of my alternative work that I really enjoy with calming emotions and grounding techniques, because I do use them. Work is a great way for me to use them. And I will repeat myself, if you aren't like me and you don't fancy the idea of applying makeup or doing things like that, or perhaps you don't have hair, there are other ways. You can just use soft fabrics and just gently brush them against your skin, or even your face or your nose or something, and really concentrate on how it feels. If you don't have hair, again, just gently sort of just stroke your head, or gently massage it, but really, like if you get your fingers and you went up and over your head like that, but really concentrate on what you can feel. So don't just think, oh, my fingers are going across my head. Think what your fingers feel like. Think about the texture of your fingers. Are they warm? Are they cold? Is it a nice feeling? Is it a horrible feeling? Does that make sense? And what your head feels like. Is it sweaty? Is it dry? Is it moist? Sorry to say moist on Facebook or whatever. Yeah. So basically, yeah. It all really helps. So I just thought I would share that. And I hope everything's going okay. So yeah, with that, I will say see you later.